So it really is quite simple. A few of the more intolerant types hereabouts are trying to hold an evangelical rally at the Colosseum. As High Priests of the Druids, I'm discouraging attendance by sacrificing a cat every hour on the hour. Today I'm going to review OA number 5, Mad Monkey versus the Dragon Claw. Now, when I DM Oriental Adventures with actual practitioners of a martial art, they think these special maneuvers are supposed to represent every single one of the dozens of maneuvers they learn in their martial art, when actually it's supposed to represent the one or two things that make your martial art different from all the others. What is your martial art best at? And so, if you're playing a samurai, you might know the basics of a martial art plus one or two of these. If you're playing a monk, you'd know a lot more because you pour as many proficiencies as you can into learning these. So, this is a sequel to Ochima the Spirit Warrior, but you don't have to play them together. In fact, the second time I ran this, I didn't play them together. I just played this. And it goes into Tu-Lung, which is a different era of fantasy China than Shaolong. And there's some history of it in the Black Leopard cult, which we encountered in Ochima the Spirit Warrior. But the main heart of this dungeon is, or this module, is a overpowered martial art called Dragon Claw, which includes 3 extra disciplines that are not in the Oriental Adventures book. So it's overpowered, but in the course of play, the players will learn their own overpowered martial art. And so this is supposed to represent not real martial arts, but chopsaki movies. So it begins with a meeting of the Ko family. And you meet the Ko family, and they send you on a mission, and you have to watch out for Tu-Lung agents, and you have to take with you one of their nephews, Ko La Ko, a 3rd level Wujin. So, after a brief fight with a Gorgon and a spirit, you then get on a ship and you go to an uncharted island where you meet Husin, who's just killed a bunch of Oni. And Husin will teach you Mad Monkey Fu, the martial art. So, Husin teaches you, first he has you do work, like in the Karate Kid, has you do a bunch of work, and then he starts training you. And so each week you learn a new special maneuver of this. And after a week, after you've learned it all, you have a test that each player has to go through one at a time. I would send all the players into the other room and have them come back one by one to go through this test. And then after they did the test, they go back and tell the others how they did. And then when you go back to the ship, you find instead of weeks have passed, only hours have passed because there's a time warp. So back to the mission, you start traveling to Tu-Lung. I made a map and deleted out a lich who appears later. Here's a little map of Mad Monkey Island. And some of the philosophy of Husin. My favorite one is, a fool and his money will soon party. Yeah, so here you are. You're learning martial arts from him. Oh, here's the island. Oh, and it even comes with some pre-gens. So our pre-gens are a human Yakuza ninja, a human Sohei, Yeah, here's spells that the Sohei has. A Korokaburo Bushi, a cat Hengeyokai Bushi, and the cat has this map, different map from last time, a human samurai, a river spirit folk Kensai. Some of these are the same characters from the other module. A human Shukenja, a female 9th level Wujin, and she's got more spells than last time. And here's the martial arts style that the Shukenja does. So he already knows some special maneuvers. So you go through the final test, and then you head to Oolong, where you go to the village of Painok. And it's railroady. There's encounters that you do in a particular order. You fight the dragon claws a few times. Go to a library. Now, this is an optional encounter in which you acquire a MacGuffin, or as I like to call it, McMuffin, from the Panther Spirit. And the first time I ran it, I did this, and it was very obvious how you use this, and it was not as satisfying as running it without the McMuffin. So, you come to some ruins, and here's a farm. You run into some buso, which are basically ghouls, and then there's an underground river, which leads you through a bunch of encounters. The river is very railroady, just one way up the river. There's some kappa, which were kind of fun. There is a maze at one point with a lich in it, and a waterfall. And finally you get to the hidden underground city where the dragon claws are. So here he is, Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw teaches the martial art Dragon Claw, where you use weapons called Dragon Claws. And all this is on purpose to foil attempts at divination. So here's the maps. I made copies of these maps to make them easier to use. Let's see. So, my favorite version of the ending of this is to have Husen show up when, at the very end, you fight the Dragon Claws, and Dragon Claw grows up to be giant-sized. So Dragon Claw grows up to be giant-sized, gargantuous size. And then Husen shows up and makes you gargantuous size, so you could all fight him. He's fighting using Dragon Claw style, you with Mad Monkey style. And at the end, you go back to normal after you defeated him. And Husen gives you a choice of becoming a Mad Monkey monk or giving back your knowledge of Mad Monkey food. Yeah. So, here's the maps. I made copies so I could show them to players. But that's it. Mad Monkey versus the Dragon Claws. Notice the special naginata that the Mad Monkeys use and the special swords that the Dragon Claws use. It's written by Jeff Grubb. And this is one of my all-time favorite dungeons. But the problem with it was that it ruined Oriental Adventures, and especially martial arts, from then on. That gave players unrealistic expectations about what it's like to use martial arts, because you had use of an overpowered martial art to fight people who had use of an overpowered martial art. And once you go back to the normal levels, the players wanted to learn Mad Monkey. They wanted to do all the Mad Monkey stuff they used to do. So it kind of ruined my Oriental Adventures campaign, but it was a lot of fun. So it's a great capstone to your Oriental Adventures campaign.